So, I wanted to just say, I was playing this game just ahead of time, just to see what it was like, because I've not played this in a while. And, I think you guys can see something very beautiful right now. We have a very great design with this guy just running at the wall. Like, let me show you my, situation. That guy's gonna still keep running, I guess, but if I go back here, I literally can't leave because this game has such excellent design that I actually get trapped in here. Oh yes, and I just want to say I'm not even like 5 seconds into this game and I'm already disliking the music so much. Yeah, okay, I love getting hit by a bunch of saw guys. And oh, I'm sorry, but did we just phase through a golden plane? Man, this guy's like getting murdered by like random as heck machine, like really random machines, and he's talking about how awesome he is. What just happened? What was that enemy place? Okay, and Ultimate Pass, California has more windmills than any other spot on Earth. How many windmills are there? I'm sorry, but what? Okay, I know that this is probably like a question I could Google right now, but I really want to wonder, like, how the heck did they expect anyone back in the 1990s to know this information if, like, the internet was primitive as, it, like, you wouldn't be able to, like, just search this up. And I don't know, I guess I had no idea even what the answer was. I just picked something random. Chainsaw guy? No. Okay. Hey, we can be friends. No! No! Okay. Come on. Alright, we can get this guy. We can get him. There we go. Oh my. And yes, my favorite segment of the game is where we get to answer questions about the environment. So, the large slough are known from the stinking corpse of Lily to Lily of East Asia. Has a diameter of up to. So I have a serious question. How was any kid that played this game supposed to understand this question? Like, I'm rather sure, at least back in the 90s, is when this came out, like, mid-90s, that most kids didn't have access to the internet, and the internet wasn't even that advanced, so, like, at what point are we supposed to, like, verify this information? I'm gonna go with. And oh no, it's 15 feet. Like, they literally drop their jaw as if everyone knows this information. Oh, okay. Can you control well, Awesome Possum? Why does it feel so weird to jump with you? Okay. I've never had so much trouble. Okay, can you jump on the branch? Or the log, or whatever? See, that literally, okay, see, that literally takes away about, like, okay, oh my, yo, that was, what is that game over screen, like, why is it that dark for just Awesome Possum dying, what the heck? Alright, now we're to the actual review part of the video. I'm gonna be honest and just saying, I didn't have high hopes for Awesome Possum to begin with. Honestly, this game was so unbearable when playing it that I just didn't want you guys to be tortured by showing footage of it while I'm actually talking about the game. So instead, I just put on some Sonic 3 Knuckles gameplay since it kinda goes with the theme of the video regardless. I think I showed what I needed to in the earlier part of the video, where this game was annoyingly frustrating. I like to get into my segment though where my criticisms are, so let's just hop into those. The biggest problem I want to talk about, honestly, is just the music. I'd be fine if the music shifted, but the levels come in multiple pairs for this game, so you'll be hearing the exact same music over and over again while you go through this game. I think the opening music is literally just enough to get the message across and just how bad it is. With how repetitive the music gets, it disengages you from any sort of attachment you could possibly feel with the gameplay. Now granted, it is a Sonic ripoff, but Sonic does this right. The moment you hop into the game, you're greeted with Green Hill music, which is very much upbeat and catchy. Just to make the comparison, let's play a sample for Green Hill. I think the point is made. What a lot of these knockoff games don't seem to understand is that what makes Sonic partially enticing, or just any good game for that matter, is they have music that makes you want to play the game. When I hear this garbage of music from Awesome Possum, the only feeling I'm really getting is that I want to turn off this system and walk away right now. I don't want to play this first level at all. Speaking of which, I do think that we've already hammered this in enough though with the comparisons. So the next thing is the graphics and sprites for this game. I was in a call talking about this. I can't remember who exactly brought it up. I think maybe Dat Attack did. But it was in reference to just how Awesome Possum looks cartoony while everything else feels so unfittingly realistic. The problem presents itself in just how it stars an anthropomorphic possum, but it is also surrounded by realistic machinery and basically a knockoff Dr. Eggman, and that it doesn't really help that it has a muddy background. This is where I use Sonic as a reference point again. I am sorry for those people who genuinely want me to stop making these comparisons with Sonic, but I think the most effective way to just show how badly this game fails is comparing to what it was inspired by. Take something like Motobugs, Caterkillers, Buzz Bombers, Crab Meats, pretty much any badnik. They are cartoonish, and they're not realistic robots that would be made in our real world. It fixed Sonic's design as he's something more cartoony, same thing with his friends and the other characters like Tails and Knuckles. Even the main villain, Dr. Robotnik, looks appropriately cartoonish for the setting. Overall, it looks like they belong in that world. Awesome Possum's game can't decide whether or not it wants to be realistic or cartoony. All you get in the end is just a mess that you just can't tolerate. Speaking of characters, let's get to the ones that are unfortunately presented in Awesome Possum. Basically, none of the robots are even notable in this game, so they're skippable. The only notable characters that they really are is that there's Awesome Possum himself, Dr. Machino, and I guess Awesome Possum's animal friends. The only thing that's really notable about them is that they're also cartoony due to really abnormal sizes and being kind of like Awesome Possum, but they're devoid of any real personality, and all they really just do is help out, kind of barely at all in the game even, so they're kind of skippable as well. Dr. Machino's design comes off as incredibly lazy. He's literally just a dude within your typical mech suit, and even just outside of it, he looks like some angry scientist dude sprite that is something similar to what you might find in one of the Gen 3 Pokemon games, if I'm gonna be honest. His design doesn't even seem unique. It just seems someone needed to make a design, so they just threw some colors on a human model and they call it a day. Now we get to Awesome Possum. While the other ones are just straight up forgettable, I'd take forgettable over not so Awesome Possum pretty much any day. You know there's a problem with your title character with how you can control them whether or not they are annoying in the voice settings. I'm going to just say I would rather take Bubsy's awful puns any day over Awesome Possum. Half of the time Awesome Possum is talking, it's literally just him giving commentary on why he's so cool and why he is so awesome. The other time it's just him making annoying hurt sounds. This is one of those cases where a company doesn't understand subtlety versus blatantness. Awesome Possum being up in your face about how cool and great his name is, especially when his name literally has awesome in it, is not a good way to get the thought of him being cool across. You know, the fact that we have to keep referencing Sonic for comparison here just shows how much Awesome Possum really took from this game. Sonic is a character you don't need to be told is cool, you just think he's cool. He's fast moving, he helps other people out, he just chills with his friends. He does the stuff that makes you have that thought. He's a really chill guy. Take the intro of Sonic's CD for example. He doesn't even need to say anything. He's just brazing across the landscape, hopping from mountain to mountain, spin dashing, going fast, having fun. And he's accompanied by a theme that actually matches his intent to help the people.
You can fly, you can reach the other side of the rainbow. It's alright, take a chance, 'cause there is no circumstance that you can't handle. When you use your mind.
Again, this is how Awesome Possum should try to act for inspiration. If he wanted to use Sonic as a template for his character, that's fine. However, when you copy the character and do it somehow far worse than what the original is, most people aren't going to have the motivation to really care about your series. And the thing is, the message this game wants to communicate isn't bad. The exposition of the game basically is talking about how Dr. Machino is polluting the environment, so Awesome Possum must rise up and stop him. From then, Awesome Possum must go to different areas to where he eventually beats Machino once and for all. He kicks his butt. It wants to communicate a message about the environment's importance and how we should save it. I understand what they are going for with what Awesome Possum should be cool so people look up for him and that saving the environment is a good thing. But the approach is flawed in every way and it's just so bad that it makes me not want to care about the issue to begin with. It comes down to Awesome Possum is clearly meant to be Sonic and that Dr. Machino is even more lazily meant to be Dr. Eggman or Robotnik, whatever name you want to call him. I'm literally going to have to mention Sonic for like the 4th or the 5th time by this point. Anyway, Sonic does this exact same message for its game. It's about trying to stop the machinery that's affecting our environment. We can especially see this in later acts like in Sonic 2 with like chemical plant zone and how harmful these problems are for the environment. Sonic doesn't even have to like have extensive cutscenes to build this up, not even like digital voice acting or anything like that. It's very subtle in its communication that you can interpret it like that. It's just really good with how it communicates it versus Awesome Possum. Ay caramba. I think we have to address the black sheep in the room, which is finally the gameplay. Yeah, I'll straight up say this, the controls are really garbage and they're just way too loose. I played this game and it felt like the hardest task ever just to land on a log. Every time I anticipated an overshot, I'd slightly go to the left only for me to undershoot instead. When I thought I'd undershoot, I actually overshot and it was too far to the right when I went over it. Not only that, the gameplay speed is just super clunky. It wants you to go fast, but it drags so much in the pacing that it makes you want not to go fast. Another problem in this regard stems from bad enemy placing and poor hit detection. I won't say Sonic is infallible in this regard, but it usually does this rather well at least. Awesome Possum's placing of these things just doesn't work. I remember when I jumped on some thorns and 2 bear traps in a consecutive order, and that literally made me die. Just because the game doesn't care about how it punishes its players. And because of that, it makes you want to not go fast. The other thing I'm going to mention is just how dumb the questions are. They are not mandatory to get correct to succeed, yes, but they are so random and the information would be practically something that nobody knows. This game got released in a time where it predated Windows Explorer. You know, the web browser literally everyone makes fun of. Windows Explorer! I really want to know how any of these developers expect the kids to get these questions right and not to just guess on them. I find myself getting more annoyed because these animals seem to get offended if you don't get these questions right, which is just even more demotivating and not wanting to play this game. It's almost like these questions are impossible to answer to begin with. I mean, it really isn't a surprise that this game is overall bad though. The only thing I can remotely say is somewhat okay about this is the actual voicing that they have, which is pretty neat. But it gets completely ruined once you realize that they wasted it all on Awesome Possum, who only says he's awesome for the sake of trying to communicate a message that does not come across as all that great. Ugh. I don't think there's anything I can really say about this game, other than it's just one of the worst games I've ever played. It took something, like, that was a bunch of flowers, and what you might think of Sonic as something great, put a bunch of manure on it, thought it would grow into something bigger, when it made the area just smell like a bunch of crap instead. This crap basically characterizes my thoughts on, like, this entire game. I'm going to just have to say that my overall rating for this game is a 2 out of 10. It's not the most awful game I've ever played, but it's definitely up there. I will just say this though, when I did get rather mad at least during this video, it was more or less just because it was just such a frustrating experience that it honestly made me want to be rather harsh in this video. Maybe I'll try to tone it down in future videos, but it was more genuine when I did it that way. But hey, thanks for watching my video. Please go watch the Total Drama one if you think that this is really good, lax discussion-based content. I'll catch you later. This is Plozible signing off. Ciao.